In the news this week, Scott Morrison's tax cuts passed the Senate as the opposition backflips following post-election crisis.
Final consultation over outer harbour sites with proposals now being revised.
Government claims the Forrestfield Airport link workplace safety has improved, but has it?
And the city's Winter Lights Festival brightens Brookfield Place.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Danielle Staniskov.
Good evening. Australians will be getting cash back in their pockets as soon as next week after the federal government's tax cuts passed the Senate. It comes as Labor backflipped on its opposition to the third stage of the package, resulting in concerns about what the party stands for following the federal election. Nelson Liu reports.
After all the political wrangling, the federal government's tax cuts is a done deal, passing the Senate 56 votes to 9, Scott Morrison getting all the support he needs and more for his $158 billion package. The PM had secured the support of 4 crossbenchers needed to have it legislated, instead of Labor, who had reservations about the package. Labor was prepared to support only the first 2 stages of the package, but have since backflipped, with leader Anthony Albanese now fully backing it to get more money back to workers sooner. The government believes it's a relief, but it causes a bigger problem for Labor post-election.
We will not refuse tax cuts to those on low and middle income Australians just because we have failed to get our amendments up today. We think that would be irresponsible. We think it would be irresponsible in the short term. It's not what the economy needs.
People held high hopes for Anthony Albanese, and if this is a sign of where the modern Labor Party are going, well, frankly, we're stuffed.
It was a real shock for the party, and they do, they are sort of wondering how to present themselves and how to, recreate the Labor brand. It is a real moment where the Labor Party is, I think, sending confusing messages out there, and it's not clear what sort of Labor Party that we're looking at.
Despite Labor's decision, Mr Albanese has left the door open for the party to back down on support for the third stage closer to the election. The package will be legislated this coming week, with the Australian Tax Office claiming it will have the structures in place to pass on the first rebate, which is up to $1,215. Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
As Perth's population is set to double in the next 3 decades, the Westport Task Force was assembled to facilitate plans to support Perth's future freight needs. 3 potential sites have been investigated, and now with final consultations complete, a report will be released detailing the whereabouts of a new port. Taylor Hannah explores this further.
The Westport Task Force has been working with WA's leading environmental agencies in the hope of avoiding environmental risks when building a new harbour. Amenable sites for the proposed port include Bunbury, Fremantle's Port Beach and the highly fought against Kwinana Coburn Sound.
The flexibility in Coburn Sound in terms of scale is much simpler because we don't have an urban environment there, but there are opportunities obviously with each of the existing ports to grow those assets.
Westport Task Force Chairwoman Nicole Lockwood believes developing Coburn Sound is the strongest proposal. However, the Fish Army remains firm on the fact the outer harbour is too risky for Kwinana and believes Fremantle is the better option.
The environment that would be destroyed from there would be acceptable to us as it's a very small area. It's not the nursery that Coburn Sound is. So, yeah, I'll be blunt, we're very anti-Kwinana. We are looking at really protecting Coburn Sound as much as we can.
The final report is being drafted before submission to the government, aiming to achieve this by the end of the year.
I think a port is going to be at some time. We just don't think it's in the next 20, 30, 40 years.
Taylor Hannah, WAMN News.
A CCC report found serious misconduct and an abuse of power at the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development. Internal investigations into these matters began in 2017 after Ms McTiernan requested the insight and then suspended Ms Herferman from her duties in November the same year. The CCC recommended prosecuting Ms Herferman for preparing false letters and misleading internal auditors and bringing in appropriate authorities. Ms McTiernan is currently seeking advice from the State Solicitor's Office on this matter and the next steps in potential prosecutions and in recovering public funds.
The government announced the Forrestfield Airport rail link has improved its safety measures. The project was deliberately delayed due to various accidents and questionable work methods. However, the CFMEU said they have not seen a lot of changes, particularly in regards to the high-risk work environments in the tunnels.
when workers raise concerns, they're not dealt with properly. It's business as usual. They undercut everyone to win the job. They have to take shortcuts, and they're not going to change their methodology. They're going to surge ahead as they can to sort of finish as close to on time as they can.
Bob Benkasar, safety manager, said it needs change, informing workers of safety processes and working cooperatively to ensure the best possible outcomes. The CFMEU are doing investigations next week to follow up on expressed concerns.
A woman has been charged after illegal drugs and weapons were uncovered at her Maida Vale home. The Serious and Organised Crime Division and Tactical Response Group executed a search warrant as part of the ongoing investigations connected to Operation Signal, discovering drugs and weapons. She faces possession of prohibited drugs and gun charges and will appear in court at a later date.
As a trade war between China and the US continues to escalate, China has established a formidable ally in Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin says their relationship is at an unprecedentedly high level, while Chinese leader Xi Jinping toasted Putin as his best friend. This comes after billion-dollar deals to roll out Huawei 5G across Russia, with Putin slamming the US for steering clear from the telecommunication giant. Huge celebrations for the American Day of Independence saw President Donald Trump praising the US military and patriotism of the country. However, with little over 16 months till the election, Trump skirted around pressing political issues. The event allowed Trump to tap into the patriotic hearts of Americans, but election polls show his Democratic rivals have the upper hand.
The Winter Lights Festival at Brookfield Place is back for another season, lighting up the CBD until the 13th of July. Never before seen in WA, light installations, projections and entertainment will be featured from local and international visual artists. Festival goers can see bigger and brighter art projected onto heritage buildings on St George's Terrace, making winter a little less gloomy.
And that's our news for this week. We have the latest on our website and Facebook page.
From Daniel, myself and the rest of the team until 8 o'clock next Sunday, a very good evening to you.
Good night.